Isabelle here, and this is a new series that I'm going to be starting, Blank Explained. So what I'm going to start off doing, I'm going to start explaining the K-dramas that I truly love with all my heart while I do something. And I posted a TikTok as well as an Instagram story asking people what I should do while I explain these things. And I don't think I got that many responses. Yeah, I didn't get any.
Bruh.
So I'm just gonna attempt to do makeup as I explain the very first episode of Snowdrop. Now, I don't know how many of y'all already know about Snowdrop, but Snowdrop is intense. Okay, now that I am not at a tilted angle, Snowdrop is a newly released K-drama on JTBC network in South Korea, starring Blackpink's own Kim Jisoo and like amazing actor from third gen, Jung Hae-in. So this entire story starts off with 4 parties in total. So the story starts off with these politicians in an office discussing how they're going to handle the next election, and it is later revealed that these are South Korean officers. One is the director of the ANSP. I'm not 100% sure what that stands for, but let me double check. And then there's also the secretary of, essentially the equivalent of Secretary of State in the US. And then there's the president of the South Korean government, and that's in one area. Then we have the actual ANSP agency themselves. I'm assuming they are the equivalent to the FBI. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think it is, but that's how I'm associating their importance. And there is a man, there is a woman, there is a commanding officer, and their issues. The next party is the North Korean Spies. That's what happens. It takes place in 1987. North Korean Spies, there are 3 of them, a leader, a second in command, and then a soldier. There is a 4th one that comes into play, but that will be in later on episodes, and we'll get to it in maybe a couple days. And then there is the party in the dorm of the Hosu Women's University. This is the party that contains Miss Jisoo, the little queen herself, as well as her dorm mates. They live in dorm number 207 under the supervision of Miss P and a handyman, as well as a telephone operator, as well as their other dorm mates that live in the same building. And all 4 of these parties are gonna collide into one. Just you wait, but I'm gonna start off with the girls in the dorm. So, first of all, I should get started on this, otherwise I'm just never gonna do it, and I'm just gonna talk forever. So I'm gonna fix my hair, and then I'm gonna put on one of my headbands, just so. So it starts off in the dorm room. So because cell phones weren't that big of a thing, I don't know how they worked. They were essentially those big block phones at the time. So the dorm had had 2 landlines. Okay, so as I was saying, it starts off in the dorm, and they have 2 landlines that is operated by a single telephone operator, or any part-timer that she would like to hire. And so this operator, her name is Gye Bunok. And she is a little bit older than all of the girls. She's worked there for a little bit now. They don't specify how long, but it has been a relative time that she's worked there. And then you can hear her voice over the announcements. Room 207, Eun Young-ro has a telephone call. Now, there's a pause in between the 207 and her name being called, and they think that it is a telephone call, again, for her more popular and older roommate, Kang Hye-rong. I'm not sure of her surname, but she recently changed her name to Hye-rong. And then there is also Sol-hee, which is her other roommate that is a little bit closer to her age. And then there's also Jung-min. And she is very different from all the girls in the dorm. She does not like to stick to society standards. She's just a fighter overall. just dry brushing my face a little. I'm not sure if this is how you use it, but I use it to brush off any excess dead skin. And I've been needing it lately because I have had to cancel my Curology membership, which kind of breaks my heart, but gotta do what you gotta do. Where did this go to begin with? I lost the spatula for this one. So next I'm gonna go in with the ColourGram Rosy Tone Up Cream just to kind of brighten up a little bit. Not sure if this is what it's used for, but that's what I'm using it for. And honestly, because this is such a light pigmented thing, I don't even need that much. So I'm just gonna blotch a little bit. There's dog hair on everything I own. So they all think it's a call for Hyerong, but it turns out to be for Youngro. So she gets super excited. She starts sprinting down the hall, even though she's not supposed to. And then she finally, and there's a rule that if you don't get there within like 30 seconds to a minute, that she's gonna hang up your call. And so she does like this whole little fake out thing, and then she picks up the phone, she's like, hello. And then the scene goes on to them being in their cafeteria, like to eat. And so their dining hall, essentially. That's the American equivalent. Thank you. And so she's just like, it was my grandma just calling to see when I was gonna take the bus to go visit her. And then there's this whole thing that breaks out about Jungmin and her being a protester, not agreeing with the social standards, stuff like that. And everyone just kind of gets on her case, and it's kind of revealed that Eun Young-ro, the main character, kind of just sticks up for everyone. She doesn't want to cause any trouble. She just wants to take care of as many people as possible. So she sticks up for Jungmin, and then, you know, things go splendidly. Now I'm going in with the Rosy Tone Up Powder to kind of just set it into my face. Also from ColourGram. I haven't used this one yet. Ooh, but it came with a little, like a thingy, so I'm just gonna get just a little bit. Kind of get all the oily spots off my face. And then it goes back on top. Lovely. And that's kind of it for the ending scene of the dormitory. Now we're gonna move on to the South Korean party here, the government essentially. So these two men, Nam Tae-il, I'm gonna call him Tom. I'm gonna give English names to the people I don't really give a F about. So Tom is like essentially America's like Korea's version of Secretary of State. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but there's Tom, and then there is Eun Chang-soo. This is the leader of the ANSP party. This was Tom's job previously, now he's his superior. So he thinks that he's got say in whatever this little guy does. And they are in a meeting with the rest of the board as well as the president of South Korea. Now, right before they get together, Tom is seen with a young woman. She's beautiful. And he's just so angry at what Chang-soo is doing, but no legal reason. And so she's like supporting him and whatever. They're a cute couple. He like is infatuated with her. And they go into that meeting with the ruling party president, and they do something where they slice up like somewhere in their hand, and then they drop it into a bowl of water, and then they drink it like as a part of their loyalty to the Aemin party. And this guy, Tom, literally takes like a chef's knife equivalent of the sword that they're using, slices his whole hand, and just like a full glass, and it's just weird. And then they meet separately, those two guys, and then they talk about a plan to like kidnap a professor because he is seeming to be the brains behind the North Korean party and a plan that they have going on. So they wanted to kidnap him and question him and kind of just make it seem that they were working together with North Korea, which they tried to do. I'm going in with my Moonshot Compact. I always forget how much that I use. Get it, squeeze. Piña. Also, if someone watches this video and I'm doing things wrong, please let me know so that I can do them correctly, because I have absolutely no idea how makeup works. And yeah. I think it's coming along nicely. Just a little bit more. Then that's essentially the end of like their part in the first episode. Well, not the end, but like that portion of the episode. Like just in the beginning, like just introducing them to everybody. And so now it's going on to the ANSP party. Well, not party. The organization, the committee essentially. And it goes into their office. They're hidden in like a place called Cosmo Toys, just so that no one knows that they're operating there. No one knows that they have interrogation there and all that type of stuff. So you see a woman walk in. Her name is Jung Hana. And she is like kind of like a detective mixed with an FBI officer. Like she's smart. She is capable. And then you see the essentially the chief assistant of that. So he kind of just handles all the operations and stuff, like coordination and everything, like for the director, Eun Chang-soo. And so he's like measuring the office, trying to make sure that there's no bugs, that there's no people listening in. And then they get word that Black Tiger is coming back to South Korea, and she is not happy by this news. She's pissed. And so they go out to greet him. He starts updating everyone on a culprit, a North Korean spy named Taedong River 1. That's his code name because apparently no one uses their real names. And I mean, like, understandable. But Taedong River 1 was the reason that Black Tiger's comrade had died. They had jumped off of a train and he impaled himself on some rubble. And then Taedong River 1 got away. And everyone was trying to find a way in order to catch him. And then Hana volunteers to join the team. And he's just like, I don't want her on my team. And she pulls out a gun and then goes pew pew into the projector screen. And he's like not fazed. He's just like, I don't want to deal with her. Take her away. And so so they start working together, but it's not really cooperative. That same night, we're gonna move on to the North Korean party. So it's not gonna start there, but it'll get there. So this young, handsome graduate student named Im Soo-ho, kind of like Soo-ho from True Beauty, but just a little bit older. But his name is Im Soo-ho, and he is a graduate student from Berlin University, coming to have his thesis checked as well as written, and wants the help of Professor Han. That name sounds familiar. Yes, it does, because he's the man talking with the North Koreans, the brains behind the operation. So he wants to connect with Professor Han super badly, but not at this point. So right now he's making like a KBBQ dinner for his friends in the same boarding house, Oh Gwang-tae being one of them. Now this dude's an idiot. He just passed the first round of civil service exams, and they were throwing him a party, make him feel good, all that type of jazz, you know? What goes after foundation? Concealer? Where's that? Okay. This is how you know that I have not done my makeup in so long. Going in with a light one to hide some spots, as well as a darker one surrounding them. And then just to cover up any blemishes that I don't want to be seen. But yeah, so they're throwing this KBBQ thing at the boarding house for Oh Gwang-tae, and then Soo-ho is like cooking for him, like making friends essentially. And so they do that, and he's just like, will you get me a meeting with Professor Han? And he's like, sure, why not? And so that goes on, and that same night, you see a whole bunch of girls running back into the university dorm grounds. And you see Hye-dong, the senior girl that normally gets a lot of phone calls, she's talking to a South Korean soldier outside, and he offers her flowers and a ring, just to accept his feelings, because she is that it girl that all the boys love, All the girls are running inside, and she's just like, oh no, what do I do? Because I gotta go inside, and he's confessing his feelings. He's on a knee. I'm not sure what his name is, but he's a South Korean soldier. I'm gonna just address him as such. I'm gonna go back in with my compacts because I think I should have concealed first. But yeah, so he's confessing his feelings outside. Everyone's running in. She doesn't know what to do. So she sees Eun Young-ro coming up the walkway, and she's like, oh my god, Onni, we gotta go. What are you doing? And so she runs inside first, and then Hye-dong, she's like, I don't want to leave him hanging. So she runs back, takes the ring, and leaves the flowers with him. And then she runs all the way inside. So he's super happy. He's like, heck yeah, I just got a girl. Why am I doing this to my mirror? He just got a girl. And so he's happy dancing, and everyone's watching him, and he's having a good time. And then you see that all the girls are trying to run back into the dorm before curfew, because otherwise they're gonna get locked out. And so Eun Young-ro, she's just like, Onni, hurry up. And she's trying to cheer her on. Hye-dong, she takes off her heels, and she's gonna ruin her tights, and she starts running. She starts sprinting. And then as Eun Young-ro is cheering, she's holding a big lunchbox from her grandma, because she just got back from seeing her, and it falls to the ground and starts rolling down. So she starts chasing it. She's like, no, my rice cakes from grandma, I need them. And so she runs down. Everyone else makes it into the dorm. And then the groundskeeper, his name is Mandong. He's an older man. I'm just going to call him Grandpa, because that's what the girls call him, lovingly. They're just like, Araboji. Yeah, so Grandpa is trying to hold the door open for her as long as he can. But then the hall director, Miss P, comes out. I'm just going to call her P. P-I. Yeah, P, because that's how it's pronounced in Korean. So P walks out with Gye Bunuk, and they go to do roll call every single night at 9 o'clock for the girls. But Grandpa and Gye Bunuk, they know that Eun Young-ro is not back yet. And so they're just like, what do we do? And P, she's just like, why is the door still open? What are you doing? And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna close it right now. And she's just like, I'll take the key then. And so he goes to lock the door just as Eun Young-ro is walking up, and he's like, just hide. And so she squats down, but she knows that he won't be able to open the door up for her again. So she starts running around to her side of the dorm. Hello. Do you want some contour? But yeah, so she starts squatting down by the door, and she's just like, how am I gonna get inside? So she starts walking around to where her dorm window is. She sees that it's open, and she starts scaling the wall. Now, all the girls inside of her dorm, they're freaking out. They're just like, how could you abandon her? How could you leave her outside? And then, they were just like, she's gonna get kicked out if she gets caught, right? And Hye-dong, she's like, why should I care? And they're just giving her a bunch of crap for not waiting for her or something, or for not trying to defend her. So that goes on, and then everyone can see that the director, that Ms. P, is coming down the hallway. And so they're just like, oh no, what do we do? And so she makes her way through each room and stuff. She's searching, making sure they're not hiding anything. And then when it comes to the room in front of 207, they see her, and they're just like, oh my god, hide her. And then as she continues to go down the wall, Gye Bunuk notices her, and she's just like, oh my god, what are you doing? Go. And so right as the director is about to walk up to room 207, Gye Bunuk screams, rat! Oh my god, it's disgusting! And this is their time to shine. So they pull Young-ro into the building, they put on her pajamas over her, they take off her jeans, they toss them, they tie her hair up, wash her hands, wash her feet, as much as they can do to try to make it look like she was there. And so they get it done, but she's super sweaty, And she was just like, I apologize, I was just a little nervous, you know? They passed inspection and she was just like, oh no, I left my rice cakes outside. She left them by the front door. She runs down to the basement where Grandpa is. And she's just like, Arabaji, did you save it for me? And he pulls out her rice cake tin. And this makes her so happy because one of the rice cake tins was for him. So she had asked her grandma to make some for him, and I thought that was really sweet. He tells them, hey, can you drop off something for Bunok for me? If she breaks it one more time, I'm just gonna throw it out the window. And so it's a watch, and so they go to drop it off. Now, because she is just a telephone operator, she's not an actual student, she's able to live in the dorms, but not on the same floor. So she kind of sleeps in the basement, like in one of the rooms. And once they get to her door, she sticks her head out the door, but not all, like, she doesn't open the door all the way. It's like open like this, you know, like weird, like it's sketch. And so she's just like, don't you owe me for, like, now I gotta catch a rat. Like, don't you owe me? And she was just like, sure, what do you want? And she said, I want an English copy of Romeo and Juliet. And she was just like, what? And she's like, why? You think I can't have it because I'm not a student? And she's just like, no, I'll get it for you, calm down. And she's like, okay, thanks. And this is the type of girl that she mainly just uses nice girls to get what she wants. So I find her super annoying, but I believe she's the actress from Extraordinary You. I'm pretty sure, I'm not positive, but I think it's her. Oh yeah, I haven't been saying what I've been doing. So I used the Too Cool for School art class contour palette, as well as the highlight palette, and now I'm going in with a Tarte blush, and yeah. So then she was just like getting super pissy, and anytime this happens, she gets super pissy, which is really weird. Like, she has no reason to be, like, no one treats her differently, but yeah. And so everyone's like kind of confused as to why she never shows her room or stuff like that. Like, I'm gonna use the brown cube, or the basic cube by Colorgram also. Now I need concentration. Ugh. Ugh. Hang on. Okay, now back to the ANSP Cosmo Toys headquarters. Now the black tiger, his name is Lee Gangmu. Now he and Hannah they got some beef going on. Like, it's very obvious that they don't really care for each other. And they're suspecting that Professor Han let Taedong River into Seoul. Like, he found a way to get him in. And so they're expecting some kind of, something to go down. So they wanted to get Professor Han in for questioning. But yeah, they wanted to bring him in for questioning. So Gangmu asks Hannah, hey, can you like use your connections to get me in with this guy or something? And she's just like really reluctant about it because she doesn't want to do anything to help him, but she kind of has to work for him, so she kind of just agrees to it. And then, bruh. No. So then back at the dorm, they're all, like, Youngro is kind of complaining. She's just like, my brother hasn't responded to me in the letter. It's super weird. Her brother was a protester that got arrested, and as a result, his father put him into the military. And so he has to go through, like, training and all that stuff. And so she really just wants to be in contact with him. So she's just like, my brother hasn't like responded to my letter in so long. I wonder if he's okay. And she's just getting really upset by it. And the dorm mates are telling her, she's just like, guys only respond to their girlfriends, not their little sisters. And so as they're talking, they get a phone call from Oh Gwang-tae. Remember him from the little KBBQ thing? He hears Hye-dong singing because she is an opera student. And because Young-do works at the phone booth, she intercepts the call. So he says, hi, I need to speak to Hye-dong. Like, I just want to meet her. I want to know how fascinating she is and all that stuff. And then he was just like, we can set up like a group date and everything. Like, they can bring the entire dorm and we'll just hang out at the coffee shop. And she was just like, oh, okay, thanks. So she ends the call, like saying that there's gonna be like a group date, and then she knows that Jungmin is not gonna go, the protester. She just doesn't wanna deal with it. Now I'm gonna go in with the romantic cube and get some of the pinks out. Just, I'm feeling a little peachy vibe, you know? Subtle. Okay. Can you see it? Okay, but she knows that Jungmin won't want to go just because she's her and she just won't want to do it. So Bunok, the girl who works there, she's just like, I'll go. Just don't tell them that I'm not a student. Like, you owe me, you know? But she had already given her the book. And so Bunok kind of inserts herself. She's just like, you know, she's not gonna want to go, so why can't I go? Like, just because I'm not a student? She brings this up every single time, and it's so flippin' annoying. But so she goes up to the dorm. She tries to convince Hye-dong. She's just like, oh, why don't we let her go? She never gets out of the dorm, all that stuff. She's like the only person who's like actually nice to Bunok. And so she's just like, fine, but if she says something weird, we're out of there. Now I gotta take some cute pictures before this dries, and it's like getting glue off my face. But so she tries to convince her, and then she finally ends up just like, yeah, let her come, whatever. Like, we don't really care. Why am I talking to my mirror? This is so weird. And she's just like, yeah, we don't really care. Just tell her to come, but don't embarrass us, essentially. She's just like, oh my God, yes, it's so exciting. I love it. And so the day of the date comes. They're supposed to meet in a cafe. And in the back of it, it's Oh Gwang-tae and Im Soo-ho. He's just like, I don't want to be here. You told me that you would get me a meeting with the professor, so why am I here? And he's just like, we needed a fourth person, that's why you're here. So where's your item? And he like pulls everything out of his pockets. He has a paper airplane. He's just like, use this as your item. This is perfect. I guess that's how they did blind dates back in the day, because the way that worked is that like people would put out an item, and then the person of the opposite gender would like pick and choose which one it was what, and then that would correspond to a person. I'm not sure how it works, but they'll explain it later on. And then, oh yeah, so I went in with the Colorgram glitter Happy Aura, number 9. It's just Happy Aura. But yeah, so and then in the background, you can kind of see Gye Bunok. She probably got there early, was in the women's restroom, and then heard them like arguing and stuff. And she saw this guy. Im Soo-ho is a pretty man, so she was just like, I see his item, I'm gonna take it. And so, like, fast forward into the actual date. The guys are there, they're waiting for everyone to show up. Eun Young-ro was still like, shouldn't we go by now? Bunok is probably already there. And she was just like, see, this is why she doesn't have a man. You have to keep them waiting. You have to make them want you more, you know? And so they show up just a little bit late. Soo-ho is kind of like making like a Jenga tower of matches, because apparently in the 1980s there were just tins of matches for people to smoke, I guess? Or it's like to light a candle or something, to like brew some water, I don't know. But yeah, he was making a stack with matches. And so the girls walk in, Hye-dong looks at Soo-ho, and he was just like, Oh Gwang-tae? Like thinking that was him, because she wants like a pretty man. And old Gwangtae, this little idiot, sits up, he knocks the table, matches fly everywhere, but Young-ro goes to reach for it. She's like, oh no! And their hands touch, her and Soo-ho, and it's like a little electricity moment. And then she like takes her hand away, she's like, oh sorry, you were almost done. Like, trying to play it off real cute. The date goes on, and you can see that Hye-dong is not having a good time. And then they were just like, should we put our items out? The girls are going to reach theirs, and he's just like, nah, let the guys do it, you know? And then Bunok shows up. She's like in this really gaudy outfit that she thinks that foreign girls wear when they're in college. Okay, but then she shows up, and she's just like, why don't we present our items? And so the boys put out their items, and then they zhuzh them around while the girls keep their eyes closed. I think it's pretty sketchy. Hye-dong goes to pick first. So there's a pen, there's a paper airplane, there's something else, I forgot what it is. And then there is a civil certificate exam sheet. And then she picks up the exam sheet thing, and then she looks at Soo-ho. She's like, is this yours? And Gwangtae is smiling ear to ear. He's like, no, it's mine. And then her face is like, what did you just say? Next is Sol-hee, the younger girl that is closer to Young-ro's age, and she's just like, why don't you go first, Young-ro? I don't know who to choose. And so Young-ro, she takes her time picking. She's looking through, and then she looks at the boys as she touches each one, and then they're all like yeah, that's mine. No, don't touch that one. And then she goes for the paper airplane, and she has a special connection with it because anytime that she doesn't actually send a letter to her brother, she'll turn it into a paper airplane and throw it. It doesn't go very far, but she'll throw it. And so she decided to go for the paper airplane until Bunok sees this, and she smacks her hand and reaches for the airplane. She's just like, I'm older, don't you think I should go first? Which was really annoying. The scene cuts to her Young-ro being in a record shop, and she is listening to a song on the headphones that they have there for like people to use freely. Oh, it got on my face. Ugh. There you go. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so she's like, one-way ticket. Like, she's singing and dancing, like doing like weird things that Jisoo would do, you know? And then she, like, in the background is Im Soo-ho. He's in the store too. And he sees her, and then she takes off her headphones because she knows that everyone in there is talking about her. So she walks down, keeping her head down, and then she bumps into Soo-ho. And this is like their little connection moment. It's really cute. And then she was just like, oh, what are you doing here? And he's just like, oh, I had a change of plans. And he was like, what are you doing here? She was like, same thing. And she's super embarrassed. So she rushes to the cashier. She's like, how much is it? How much is it? But he's like, how much is what? And so she's super embarrassed because she forgot to grab a tape that she wanted to buy. So she like immediately like walks on over there really quick, grabs the tape, and then she's like trying to play it off cool, and then walks to the cashier, but it's too expensive for her. So she's like, okay, I'll just buy it next time. And then she's super embarrassed. But as she's about to walk back in to the like school area, he stops her, and he's just like, hey, here you go. And he bought the tape for her. He bought the tape for her. She was like, I don't like being indebted to people. So she tries to give it back to him, and they both don't know, but someone's watching them from a car. He is being surveilled. But then as time goes on, he sees like a group of police officers trying to find a specific person. And they're going from like place to place looking for this person that they have a picture of, which is eerily similar to Soo-ho. As he is trying to evade these officers, Young-ro notices him and that he's kind of freaking out a little, and follows him into like a dead-end alleyway. And so she sees the police coming by, and she sees how scared that he's looking. So she starts this whole bit. She's just like, how dare you? You went to the music concert with her, didn't you? And just like starts pounding on his chest like a baby gorilla. And he's just like, I didn't. So they're trying to play it off as like he cheated on her or something, or they're just like a couple having a fight, like normal people. And the police, they see this, and they're just like, what? And then all of a sudden, he hugs her. to stop her from pounding because those little fists are powerful. And so he hugs her. And the police are just like, let's just leave him. And so they let go, and she starts crying, or like at least tearing up. She was just like, my brother was arrested for protesting. So at this point, she's assuming that he is just a protester that had gotten in trouble. So she kind of wants to help him out. But then he gives her back the tape, and he's just like, here, because you helped me. And she said, let me pay you back. So meet me at the same coffee shop, same time tomorrow. And then she walks back into the dorm, and she's like super happy. And then she turns on her cassette player to record something onto a blank tape. And she's like, I never knew what it was like to fall in love at first sight until I saw him. Like something really hecka cutesy. Flash forward to tomorrow, he doesn't show up, which kind of sucks because she was really looking forward to it. And then 6 months later is a scene of Im Soo-ho as well as his two comrades in a car together. They are staking out Professor Han, and someone had slashed Professor Han's tires. So Soo-ho gets out of the car. He's all like, oh, teacher. He's all like, Soo-ho, what are you doing here? He's like, do you need a ride? And he said, sure. So he gets in their car. Soo-ho points a gun to him, and now he knows kind of the direness of the situation. And they don't know that they're being followed until like a certain point. The ANSP, Lee Gang-moo and Hana are following him because they want to find out what's going on. So, I need a drink. I've been talking for too long. Oh, I still have to do eyelashes. Oh no. So then, as they're being chased down, they lose them, but then they cut a corner and hit them from the side. So the driver and Professor Han are both knocked out. One of the comrades escapes, and the other, Im Soo-ho, is trying to run away as well. They're not really that concerned about the other comrade. The person they really want is Im Soo-ho. So they start chasing him down. Gang-moo shoots at him. He gets him in the shoulder. He's just like, oh my god! And then all of a sudden, Im Soo-ho just rolls and tumbles down a cliff. A cliff of all things. And he gets to a fence, and he sees a big building there. And it turns out that it's the dormitory. And so he climbs over the fence and is just looking for a place to hide. He's looking for a place to heal. He tries to climb up the wall and is looking for an open window in a dark room where there's no one there. So he finds one and starts climbing up the wall. He's like, oh my god, this hurts like crazy, because a rock hit him in the back, so his leg is just out of commission. He got shot in the shoulder. He's just not in good shape. But I mean, he's in good shape because he's climbing a flipping concrete wall. Whoa! So he makes it into the room, and then he just falls flat, and he's like, oh my god. Like, you know, like, I don't know if people understand that feeling of just being in so much pain that you pass out. I personally have never had that feeling, thank goodness. But if you do know that feeling, then you can understand what had happened. And as this is happening, the ANSP agents see blood along the fence, and they're like thinking, oh, he's in there. So they storm into the dormitory, and they're just like, hey, you're hiding a fugitive, we gotta search everything. But P walks out, the director, and she's just like, do you have a warrant? She's just not wanting them to search anything. She's just like, you need to back off. Yeah, but she's just getting super protective of the girls. And I mean, it's understandable. They're grown men just trying to waltz in on a girls' dormitory. So she's just like, you can't come in without a warrant. And Hana starts to like point a gun at her. She's like, are you really gonna fight me on this, lady? Like there's a possible bad guy in here. Like, you need to understand the situation. But she's like, I'm not letting you in without a warrant. And he's just like, it's a 30-minute drive to the office, so just go get it. So he sends Hana to kind of cool off, you know? Ow, my eyelid! Okay. Sends Hana to kind of cool off, and then all the girls, they're kind of just rushing back into the dormitory. And Jungmin, the protester, she was just in a rally where she thought that the police were coming to look for her. So she's like trying to hide in her dorm. She's just getting really scared because she thinks it's about her. But then everyone is like kind of just protecting each other as friends should. And then Young-woo was already in the building. She's coming back from the library, and she walks into her room, and little does she know, she sees a bleeding man up against the wall. And then she walks up to him and then sees, oh my God, it's Suho, the guy that stood her up 6 months ago. And that's how episode 1 ends. But yeah, episode 1 ends with them going to go get a warrant to search the dorm, and then Suho lying on the ground, just really, really out of it, like probably conked the F out. And then she finds him bleeding on the ground. She doesn't know what to do. And then everyone is still pretty much downstairs as the police are like trying to break their way into the dorm to find the Northern Spy. And the thing is, no one actually knows if he's a Northern Spy or if he's a protester. So the people are just like, if it is a protester, then shouldn't we be protecting them as it's a young student, aka possibly Jungmin? Oh no. But yeah, so that's how that episode ends. And then the way that this K-drama is shot is that they have bonus clips. So at the end of all the credits and stuff, they have a bonus clip. And this bonus clip was of Im Soo-ho and Oh Gwang-tae and their friends. They were doing like their little barbecue thing, and up on a telephone pole was the second in command. His name is Comrade Ju. I'm not sure what his actual first name is, but I know that Im Soo-ho will call him later on in the series Comrade Ju. And so he's up working the telephone pole, and then he looks down, like trying to stake out the place, you know, trying to listen in. And that's how that ends. Oh, this was such a weird explanation. I don't know how people do this for a living. Like, it's definitely hard, but I feel like I'll get the hang of it after a while. I don't know. I don't know how often I could do my makeup because my face doesn't... I don't know. I don't think my face does enough justice for makeup like on a daily basis. But yeah, so that's how episode 1 ends. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think is gonna happen, because it's just a whirlwind of experiences. And if you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and a comment down below on what you'd like to see next. Please hit the subscribe button, as well as hit the bell for notifications on whenever I post a new video, because I never know when I'm gonna post a new video, and it's just a little sad. So, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and I love you all. Bye! Mwah! Ugh.